back to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David.
I'm Brian.
And we're back. We hope you've had a happy Halloween. You guys did some cool stuff. Perhaps watched Spook Warfare, the film we covered for Halloween.
Yeah,
you better
have because we told you to do it. And if you don't listen to us, then
Yeah, like if you're not doing everything we tell you to do, then like, what the hell, man? You're not real fans of the show.
Fake fans.
Yeah, literally. You're supposed to follow leaders blindly. That's what everyone says you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what history says.
Exactly.
Do it.
All right. Well, we're back with a episode that we've talked about doing something similar in the past. We're going to be covering some cool kaiju music today, but unlike what we've done in the past with stuff like that, it's going to actually have focus for once. Talking Toku episode that's focused? Who would have thought? But we'll get into that more in a little bit because, Brian, we have some news. So, hey, because there's so little news, hey, big surprise, spoiler alert, all that fun stuff. There's never any news. But anyways, I'm including merchandise news in order to fill the gaps left by the lack of actual news.
Disgusting.
I know.
Just trying to sell people shit.
Right?
Capitalism.
I know. I'm bad. I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
Disgusting.
So, you know U2s, like the YouTuber collectible figures, but also they do memes.
It's the thing that every big YouTuber does at least once.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
they're really not that great looking.
They really
aren't. To be quite honest with you, they look kind of obnoxious.
They do. It's like, I mean, they're pretty much Funko Pops, but more like annoying, which is surprising. Like Funko Pops are fucking shit. Yeah. Anyways, they have Godzilla ones now. Yay! And hey, guess what? It's fucking Godzilla, Mothra, Mechagodzilla, and King Ghidorah. Wow, who could have seen that coming, right?
How daring of them.
Yeah, I mean, what is pretty daring actually is the fact that they used the 2001 King Ghidorah from Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, because that design doesn't really get a whole lot of love. I feel like most people go for like the Heisei era Ghidorah than anything else. So,
that is actually pretty cool. I like that design. I just think the wings are too small.
I mean, they're fine when he gets powered up near the end of the film. They look okay then.
When he goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah. When he actually becomes King Ghidorah, because like before he's just Ghidorah. He's not the king yet. That's the whole thing. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
True.
But yeah, go get your Godzilla U2s now.
I'm sure they're only available for a limited time.
Oh, I'm sure. Are they usually limited?
U2s are always limited.
Are they? Okay.
I think it's quantity. It could be timing, but I'm pretty sure it's quantity.
The only thing about U2s I've ever liked, and it's not even a thing that happened. I was Oni Plays talking about it, and I think it was Lyle who was saying like, we should get big enough so they'll do U2s of us. And then immediately just begin the biggest, like, cancellation of YouTubers ever, and just start spouting the most racist, sexist shit, so they become super, super valuable.
Oh my god!
That was the only funny thing about YouTubes I know of. It's that bit.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyways.
I think Oni Plays is big enough to get U2s made. I just don't think he gives them. I don't think Oni specifically does not care.
I don't think any of them care.
Also, in case you're thinking to yourself, what does Oni Plays have to do anything with my giant monster movie media?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, for your information, apparently, according to you, Dave, Oni was one time listening to the Ultraman theme in his car.
Oh my god!
On an Instagram story.
That's right. I forgot about that. All right, so so this was a couple months. This is like, I want to say last year even. I was high off of my fucking ass. I had taken, I don't know how many edibles I had taken, because I took some from the chocolate bar that had like melted. So I think I took what was probably 2.5. So I was very high, as you could imagine. And I'm just kind of scrolling through Instagram, and I'm looking at Chris O'Neill, Mr. Oni Plays Himself. He posted a story, and it was just him with some friends. The camera wasn't pointing on any of them, so they were just like out, looking out the window. They were driving around LA at like God knows what time, and they were just blasting the Ultraman Leo theme. And because I was really high, it was the most surreal fucking thing I have ever seen. And like the day afterward, I sent it to my friend in the Kaiju United Discord, and he comes back like 5 seconds later, types in all caps, "Holy shit, you weren't kidding." I'm like, "Corey, I would never lie to you." He's like, I would never believe a man who was high off 2.5 edibles. And I'm like, "That's fair enough, but I would never lie."
That's incredible.
But yeah, that was a fucking surreal moment in time.
I remember you just texting me, I think the night of, saying, "I think I'm like losing grasp of reality" or something.
I was. That's what it felt like.
Because you were just like,
it's such an ultra specific thing.
And then I went to go watch the story, and if you have no idea what Ultraman is and you just watch that, like, you would never have thought of anything special of it.
No.
But because you know, it just took you aback. You took like a double take of it.
Yeah, it was fucking wild.
Oh, anyways, that's funny.
Moving on.
Yeah, so that's the connection. I feel like that's half of the show is us talking about unrelated stuff and then really stretching how it fits.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we talk all the time about how loose our definition of kaiju is. So, I mean, for God's sake, We've done 2 episodes on Jurassic World.
Hey, dinosaurs are the original kaiju,
This is true.
You know I'm right. All right. Well, let's get on to our second piece of news, which is also stuff you can buy.
Yeah. I mean, this is like,
but actual news.
I feel.
Yeah. Time for some actual news. Discotek Media announced during their Discotek Day live stream that they'd licensed Kamen Rider Black for a Blu-ray release. All 51 episodes in HD, new subtitles, and copious extras, including a cast and crew reunion and new essay by Tokusatsu troubadour Mock Dent. No release date mentioned aside from late 2023, but keep an eye out for it next year. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Kamen Rider.
I think we keep saying that. Like we keep covering Kamen Rider news, and then we always follow it up with, "I don't know anything about Kamen Rider." I think we need to finally watch Kamen Rider, Brian.
Well, I mean, we are done with the series that we've been watching aside from Decker. So we
could start watching Kamen Rider. I'm pretty sure the original Kamen Rider is on Tubi and maybe even YouTube. But yeah, we could definitely start watching Kamen Rider, and that could be something we maybe cover for the show in the future.
I just looked it up, and it seems like it's on YouTube.
I know they were uploading it, but it's also like a 91 episode long series, so I don't know if they're done uploading it.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a long series.
Well, if it's that long, then I'm sure by the time we're caught up to where they're still uploading, I don't know.
No, the whole thing. I know the series is on Tubi, like the entire series, so we can just do that. But
that's true.
Yeah, if you guys want, let us know if you'd like us to cover the original Kamen Rider. I mean, I feel like we should if we end up going to see Shin Kamen Rider when it comes out.
Hey, you know what? Anything to fill the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous sized hole in my heart right now. I'll
Yeah,
take it.
honestly. Well, again, there's that. Oh, I should have put this in the news segment. Actually, they're doing that interactive episode later this month.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, what is?
Hell
I
yeah.
gotta look up what it's called. Hold on.
I remember you sent this to me, and I was
Ecstatic.
like, I was ecstatic. I was so excited. I was like, "Yo, let's go, dude!" Do you think they're gonna have a hand POV?
Oh my god, that'd be insane. Where is it?
So is it gonna be? So it's gonna be like interactive, right?
Yeah. So it's like a choose your own adventure kind of thing.
Okay, and it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Where is it?
Okay,
Come
because
on.
Netflix has done that kind of thing before.
Yeah, they have, but this is the first time they've done it with Jurassic World.
Didn't catch on as much as I thought it would, but
No, which kind
Eh.
of upsetting. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Hidden Adventure. It's November 15th is when it drops.
does it take place after the end of the series or
No,
sometime?
it takes place. I want to say they said in between seasons 2 and 3.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, so they're still
All
on
right.
Isla Nublar, and it's really funny because like, Paleo Twitter has been fucking trashing it because like the main dinosaur that's in it, I don't know if they've confirmed that it's a Tarbosaurus or if people have just like assumed it's a Tarbosaurus, but it looks like shit, whatever it is. Like it's literally just they took the T-Rex model, like slimmed the face down, made it a darker color, and added like dragon spikes to it.
That's disappointing.
It looks awful. Here, let me
That's so
let
sad.
me see if I can get the picture for you and drop it in the document so you can see just how bad it looks. Yeah, here we go.
Wow, I don't like that.
Right? It's so bad.
That looks like a slim T-Rex with lipstick on.
It does. Maybe this is the Joker, Brian.
Maybe this is the Joker.
This is the real Joker.
Yeah. Well, it's really sad because we praised Camp Cretaceous for having pretty good dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah.
And this
but
is just
this
is
kinda
disappointing.
looks awful. Oh well. I mean, we'll still watch it. We'll still have fun with it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But all right. Moving on from that.
Yeah.
So the biggest news, for us at least, that Kaiju United page that I keep mentioning pretty much every episode. I try to mention it every episode. I don't know if I actually do. The Facebook group and the Discord server. It's going to be expanding very soon. Technically, I'm not supposed to talk about it yet, but by the time this episode actually goes out, the news will be live. So I'm not really breaking any rules here. Plus, I got the go-ahead from the man himself to talk about it on the show, so it's fine. Anyways, there is now a Reddit page for it at r/Kaiju United, so go check that out. Not many members there so far, so we'd like some more.
Feel free to unsubscribe from r/Godzilla while you're at it.
Yeah, honestly, you'll thank us later if you do that right off the bat. But coming up March 7th of next year, there will be a whole ass website for Kaiju United. It's going to function much the same as any fan site, Toho Kingdom. That's really the only fan site I frequent. But with the KU guidelines, of course, the no racism, homophobia, transphobia, any toxic behavior, it's going to be a big no-no for the site. But yeah, there's going to be some articles, opinion pieces, including some written by yours truly. I wonder what that's about. But that's like barely scratching the surface. But if you want to know more, feel free to check out the Kaiju United Facebook group, Discord server, and of course the new Reddit page. Yeah.
Your boy just subscribed to it.
Let's fucking go, Brian. Look at you.
Hell yeah. I
Um,
am the the 14th
yep.
14th member.
I was the 13th, I'm pretty sure. I
Nice.
think they are also, now that I think about it, they're also on some other social media sites as well. So as well as the Facebook group, there's a Facebook page now. Also on Instagram and Twitter at Kaiju United. So go check them out. And I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna say this, but I don't know if I'll be able to say it. So I'll make sure I can edit around this part. Talking Toku is going to be involved with Kaiju United quite a bit more. Jacob Lingle, who is the kind of the brainchild behind the community, he actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want a like a section on the site for Talking Toku?" And obviously, I said yes, absolutely. And
You said yes, let's go, absolutely.
yes, that is
You
what
have
I
to
said.
put the you have to put the let's go in there.
Okay. But and we had talked about this, me and him, in the past. Like at some point, probably closer to March 7th, closer to the launch of the website, Jacob is actually going to come on Talking Toku and talk about
Oh,
Kaiju
dude, let's
United.
go!
Yeah, he'll be our second official friend of the show. So yeah, he'll be coming
That's
on.
pretty wild. The first time I've heard about this.
Well, yeah, I totally forgot to tell you about it. Sorry.
Jerk.
I slipped my mind. But yeah, so he'll be coming on the show at some point closer to the launch of the website to talk about Kaiju United and how, its sort of, mission statement, how it kind of came to be and all that fun stuff. So look out for that closer to March 7th. And then I think we also had talked about, and it won't just be Jacob as well. I think he's going to bring his business partner Sean in as well. And then later, I think we talked about doing an episode covering All Monsters Attack, the convention, because both he and I are going. So that means, Brian, you kind of have to go if we're going to do an All Monsters Attack episode. Just saying.
That's in May.
That's in May. Early May.
Do I have to go to Chicago?
You don't have to go. We can. I'll do a bonus. It'll be a bonus episode.
I'll think about it.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, that's all that fun stuff happening with Kaiju United. Very excited, very, very excited to see what happens and the heights we go to there. But that's pretty much it for the news this week. So, on to our main event, our main attraction. So I'm going to kind of preface this. So this is actually something that's kind of been on my mind for the past couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks ago, I had got the vinyl release, the Mondo's. No, it wasn't Mondo. It was Waxwork Records. Waxworks vinyl release for the Godzilla vs. Kong soundtrack. And I don't know if we said it on the show when we first reviewed the film last year, but, it wasn't that great a score. I think Brian and I both agreed on that when we saw the film.
Yep.
But listening to it on vinyl, my eyes kind of opened. I'm like, hold on, this soundtrack is actually like very, very good. What the hell was I thinking? And so that kind of started like a whole kind of cascade of thoughts in my head as to why did I think it was bad? Why most of the fandom thought it was bad? And what's the best way to word this? Why the soundtrack is the way it is, for lack of better phrasing. So, I want to start this off by asking you, Brian, as someone who just re-listened to the score before we started recording, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts, your review, in 100 words or less.
Okay, so for context, I listened to it today, immediately after listening to the King of the Monsters soundtrack, and at the request of you, Dave.
That's me. Hello.
And I know we've said it, but the King of the Monsters soundtrack is incredible. It's really good because the dude who made it is a really good composer, Bear McCreary.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to go listen to Godzilla vs. Kong, and in comparison, for me, I just found the King of the Monsters soundtrack much more compelling, and it has much more like going on. Like the pieces all sound different. There's a lot more to like digest.
Brian, you can't see me. You can't see me right now, but I am so ecstatic because you have pretty much just proved my point totally by accident.
Okay. Well, let me finish what I was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess my opinion on and I have a theory as to why I don't like in the movie why we didn't like why in the movie it seemed worse.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get to that in a moment. But for me, like the score for Godzilla vs. Kong, it wasn't like samey, but it definitely had. It didn't do as much. Like I don't know, it didn't. It wasn't as expansive, I guess. I don't really have a word for it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the pieces sounded pretty similar, even though they weren't bad. Like I wouldn't say that it was terrible music. I just don't think that it was as like, I don't know, it wasn't as expansive, I guess. I don't really have a word for it. As for why in the movie I think it seemed worse was because, and this is a thought I have for a lot of movies, I just think that a lot of the times music is not edited in properly to film and it doesn't fit. Like just bad mixing.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it too. That we'll get into.
I've just noticed that with a lot of stuff, and for some reason, I remember thinking to myself while watching Godzilla vs. Kong that the score was really quiet for some reason. I haven't watched the movie in a long time, so I don't know if that's actually I don't know if that's actually accurate, but I remember thinking that at the time. But that could just be because what I watched it on, the audio wasn't super great.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh no, I didn't see it in theaters. I know you did, but I didn't.
No, I did not see it in theaters.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh.
I mean, they did that thing a couple of weeks ago where they were putting it back in theaters for like one night only, and it was like $5 a ticket, and I was like, I could. I mean, the pandemic kind of robbed us of seeing that in theaters, but like, do I want to see that movie again? And I ultimately decided no. But
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Brian, you just unintentionally proved my point with your entire review there. So that could not have gone better with your wording. So think about what you said just then.
I realize that's why I prefaced it by saying it's because I listened to it immediately after King of the Monsters.
Exactly.
It's not fair. It's not fair to compare it to that because Bear McCreary is so good at what he does.
Exactly. And I think that is what the core of the issue is for this score. People heard Bear McCreary's work on Godzilla the King of the Monsters, and it's a fantastic score. And then you go from that to Junkie XL's score for Godzilla King of the Monsters. It doesn't sound very good by comparison.
Yeah.
But if you listen to it on its own, like I did with that vinyl release, because it had been a while since I'd listened to either score, that's when I started realizing, wait a second, this is actually very, very good. And I think
Yeah.
I think what happened was the fans, and us included, obviously that clearly happened with us. I think what happened was people were just holding it to too high a standard, and ultimately it fell flat for everyone because of that, because we were hoping for too much. And again, Junkie XL, Tom Holkenborg, however you want to refer to him as, he's a fantastic composer. I mean,
He made one of the best. He made one of the best scores ever, in my opinion, which is Fury Road.
Yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. I really like his score for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know a lot of people kind of don't, because there's like a lot of blom blom kind of stuff, but that's a lot of what he does. But he's good at it. But yeah, he's a fantastic composer in his own right. And while I still think his score for Godzilla vs. Kong isn't as good as it could have been, I do still think it's really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, my major complaint with it, I didn't really get to explain it to you fully because I wanted to explain it here.
Mhm.
But I told you basically like forgettable, but it was more just like I didn't oh man, I lost my thought. God damn it.
How could you, Brian? How could you?
This
How
is
could
like
you?
this is like an infection. Like you've done this to me.
Well, if you remember it, let me know, because I'm going to keep going on my spiel here.
All right, you go ahead.
So,
Yeah.
what I noticed actually when listening to it on its own, our biggest this is a complaint of mine that I have for not just like Godzilla versus Kong score, but a lot of just film score in general that I will get to. The quote unquote modern film score, in that we don't really get many film scores that have quote unquote memorable themes. You know, you think of any like iconic piece of film music. You know, the Godzilla theme, the classic Ifukube Godzilla theme, the James Bond theme, literally any piece of music from Star Wars, Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme. Those are all really anything from John Williams essentially is in that, that category.
Yep.
When is the last time we really heard a piece of film music that could be considered iconic? I'm thinking,
opinion, and I got nothing for you.
Exactly. the most recent things I can think of are the Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer's theme for The Dark Knight.
Yes.
And I'm blanking on the name of the composer right now, but the theme for How to Train Your Dragon. Those are probably, and keep in mind, the most recent of those is 2012. It's been 10 years since we've gotten a quote unquote iconic film theme.
Yeah. I just feel like I mean, this is absolutely based on no concrete proof or evidence or anything, but I just don't think movie like producers, and I don't think they put as much money into film scores as they used to. I think it's mainly going towards visual effects.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a money thing or what, but I think it's just
I think it's a mix of
trend.
I think it's a mix of money and caring.
Maybe. I mean, you can make the argument for like Rey's theme from but again, that's Star Wars. That's like an established franchise. That's not a new thing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess you could say the same for like the Avengers and The Dark Knight, but I don't know.
Well, actually, I wanted to raise a potential theory here, and it's not. I'm not saying I agree with it. I just kind of like. I was just kind of thinking about it, but hear me out. So the other day I was watching the 101 scariest moments in film or whatever. That's on Shudder.
Oh yeah, I gotta finish that.
Yeah, it really good. But on the last episode where they're going over this, the scariest moments or whatever, I can't remember who it is, but they basically say that nowadays it is exponentially harder to scare people because people have, directors of the past have iterated and iterated and iterated because the genre has been going for so long that it's harder to scare people and keep things fresh because
Mhm.
basically everything has been done and you have to keep elevating it to get people scared or to entertain people or whatever. And I kind of thought about that and I kind of put that argument into other things, and now I'm thinking about music is that it's probably really hard now to make a score that will compare, especially in franchise movies, that will
Mm.
compare to anything that has been done because now the bar keeps getting raised or it's been getting raised. And I mean, if we're just talking about music in film, that's been around way longer than horror.
This is true.
So, and that's not necessarily like, people do new things with music all the time. So I'm not necessarily saying that that's, it's a valid argument. It's just a point I wanted to raise. And
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah. I was. You already took my argument out of my mouth with that last bit, but that could be part of it. I don't know. But who knows? I mean, even doing the new stuff like going back to Ray's theme. I think Sam Witwer, who is the voice of Maul and God knows how many other characters across any franchise, I think he had mentioned that Ray's theme was actually the first theme Williams had written, at least for Star Wars, in like the major key. All the other Star Wars themes he'd done had been in the minor key. So that was something new for him. And that's why I think that's kind of become one of the more iconic themes of the past couple of years. But still, we don't get a whole lot many iconic themes. And I think that is also a big part of why Godzilla vs. Kong's score sort of didn't go very well. And this... So there was two main things that kind of drove me to want to talk about this. One of them was me listening to the score again, and the other, which this came about me realizing that the score was actually really good. I remember earlier this year when the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was coming out. And Natalie Holt, who was the composer on that show, who's a very good composer. I actually really liked the score she did for Loki.
oh yeah, that was a good score.
It was a very good score, but I didn't really find Obi-Wan
very
Kenobi.
Good show too.
It is. I think it's probably one of the better things Marvel's done since Endgame. What was I saying? Natalie Holt, she said something. I don't know if it was in some interview or something, but for her score for Obi-Wan Kenobi, she was told to make a more, quote, modern sounding score. And that to me just sounds like a fundamental misunderstanding of, first off, Star Wars as a whole, but also film music in general, because think of it, Star Wars as a franchise has given us some of the most iconic pieces of film music. The main title theme, the Force theme, the Leia's theme, the Imperial March, Duel of the Fates, Battle of the Heroes.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many.
There's so many, and
the best thing is that if you play them for anyone, they're gonna know what it's from.
Exactly, they're gonna know exactly what it is.
And they'll probably be able to name which movie and even what scene it's from.
Right? That's how iconic those themes are. And I don't know if she said it was Lucas or Disney who told her to do a more modern sounding theme score, but that just seems like a fundamental misunderstanding because it's such a deeply ingrained part of that franchise to have that more iconic, bombastic, memorable sounding music that to just do a more modern sounding score, it just kind of doesn't work very well, I think.
Because like Star Wars is so focused on its own legacy. Like The fact that they decide to just kind of go in a completely different direction with its music, which is one of the most important things to the franchise.
Yeah.
It's just like it just seems like that order came from someone who does not care about Star Wars in the least.
Yeah, honestly. I will say though, Michael Giacchino's score for Rogue One is fantastic. I think he did a really, really good job in doing his own thing, and I do want to talk about Michael Giacchino as a composer in general because he is a very, very good composer. I have a bunch of his scores listed here on ones I would like to mention maybe, but so going back to Godzilla versus Kong, in terms of like the iconic leitmotifs, as is that is the official musical term, is leitmotif. So Godzilla as a franchise has a bunch of iconic motifs. The Godzilla March and the Godzilla theme, which are in fact two different pieces of music for those of you who don't know. Mothra's theme, Rodan's theme, Ghidorah's theme. Those are all very iconic pieces of music. Godzilla King of the Monsters did reuse some of those. McCreary reused both Godzilla March and theme and Yuji Kaseki's Mothra theme. But I do want to stress, and we talked about this when we reviewed King of the Monsters a couple months ago. A lot of the themes he wrote he himself wrote for the movie are also very good. And I maybe we're biased because we're fucking obsessed with Godzilla right off the bat, but I really think his Ghidorah theme is fantastic. I still get that theme stuck in my head every so often.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So I don't think that'll reach. I mean, it's been 3 years at this point. I don't think it is going to reach the iconic status, which is unfortunate. But I do think it deserves that status. So for Godzilla versus Kong, first off, I want to say I didn't appreciate Tom Holkenborg saying. I think someone had asked him in an interview if he was going to be using any Akira Ifukube themes in the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong, which I believe he is also doing the score for. He said no because he was like, oh, that's the classic Godzilla. This is the MonsterVerse Godzilla. He needs his own theme, which would be all well and good if the Godzilla theme he wrote didn't sound like bargain bin Akira Ifukube. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. But here's the thing.
I mean, it's very, very similar.
It's kind of terribly similar. I really don't like it. But here's the thing. I like it in the context of the film. In the context of the film, because as I was listening to the score again, I came to the realization there is an iconic leitmotif in there. There is a central theme, and it is just that one single theme, but it's changed in the context of the film. And that happens with any movie, with take Godzilla versus Destroyer, for example. When Godzilla's dying at the end, spoiler alert for an almost 30-year-old film, Ifukube is doing the Requiem theme, which is, the Godzilla theme, or the march rather, played on that, a more somber sound. But in Godzilla versus Kong, its context is changed for different characters. Kong's theme is the exact same as Godzilla's theme, but it has a more heroic sound to it because Kong is our protagonist, whereas Godzilla is our antagonist. That's why the Godzilla theme sounds so similar to the original, is because that was written for a more antagonistic Godzilla, whereas Kong's sounds more heroic and triumphant because he's the hero of the film. And then when you get to the end of the film where they introduce Mechagodzilla's theme is kind of an inverse of both versions because he's like the true antagonist, but you can't have it sound too much like Godzilla's theme. I mean, you could. That could kind of work because it's Godzilla's mechanical double and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
that kind of made me realize the genius of Tom Holkenborg. Like, oh, that really works. And then the honk, like that all with Mechagodzilla, because it's going back and forth between the two versions of that central motif. It's like, oh, they're working together now because they're trying to stop the big bad really now, and it really, this all just really made me appreciate the score all the more because it's built around that one core motif of the film, and it is baked deeply into the narrative. It's thematically relevant, which I feel. So I do want to interrupt myself here just to say I know fucking nothing about musical theory. That is not anything I am even close to being well versed or educated in. So
I've listened to a couple of YouTube videos about it, and boy, it's a deep rabbit hole, Dave.
Yeah, that is what I've heard. So if you couldn't tell, I am very much talking out of my ass right now. So if anything I say is not even like, if it makes no sense, there's a reason for it. But like, know that deep down this makes sense to me. I just can't like, I can't like get the words to actually explain this. But I hope I'm making enough sense for people, for you, Brian, and for any listeners who are listening to this. But that's kind of my spiel on Godzilla versus Kong because it makes narrative sense with the different context of the characters. There we go. Godzilla versus Kong.
I think that made sense. That made sense.
All right, cool.
And you know what? When you publish this episode and our number one fan, Sam, gives it a listen, I'll ask her if it makes sense.
Okay, cool.
And then on the episode after this, yeah, if it makes sense to her, we're in the clear.
Yeah, I think that'll be good because she doesn't know enough about this niche world that we do. So if it makes sense to her, like a still sort of outsider, I think we'll have accomplished our goal.
Oh, I was just saying that because she's like a normal level-headed person, and we're both insane.
Well, I mean, yeah, that too, obviously.
Yeah. I now that you've told me your argument though, like I understand it more now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, at least from my perspective, that motif throughout the score, it gets repetitive in my opinion, but that's entirely subjective.
Yeah.
I really appreciate a lot of variety. But I do appreciate quality more over quantity. So if it's a very good score, but it does sound, it does have that kind of like the same sound, over and over, then I would like that more than many different sounds, but not well done, if that makes any sense.
No, I get you.
I think it's just really like with the King of the Monsters soundtrack, the thing is that it's got both.
It does.
It's a lot of music, and it's all good. And it's really, really well made. Like that Rodan theme is probably one of my favorite pieces of music in general.
Yeah, I had texted you earlier today, like while I was listening to the King of the Monsters soundtrack. I'm like, man, listening to this wants to make me watch the movie, if only for Rodan's Awakening, because that was the theme I was listening to at the time. And goddamn,
the music for the movie is the best form of marketing for it.
Literally, like if you want to know our thoughts on Godzilla King of the Monsters, go back and listen to the episode we did on it. But long story short, we don't really like it all that much. If your music is good enough to make me want to rewatch a movie I actively don't like, then you've made a good piece of music.
Yeah, you have. I mean, I'll at least go watch like some of the scenes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I'll skip through the movie to the parts that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But in a movie as long as King of the Monsters, that's a lot of waiting.
This is true.
So,
and honestly, like having now again re-listening to the score for Godzilla vs. Kong and having that new appreciation for it, I do want to go back and rewatch the film to see if mostly to hear the music in context. Like I don't think I'm gonna have more of an appreciation for the film as a whole. I mean I think I've seen it enough times to kind of think I don't think my opinion of this is going to change overall, but I feel like I will have a new I will have even more of a newfound appreciation for the music if I watch the film again and hear that music in context now that I have that kind of newfound knowledge about the music.
well, if you do, tell me if my internal thought about it being too quiet is correct.
Well, that is 100% the case for, because I specifically remember seeing when we saw Godzilla King of the Monsters in theaters. You know, they had released the score a day or so early, and I listened to some of it. I didn't listen to all of it, but I listened to some. You know, I remember listening to the Rodan theme. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I can't wait to hear this in theaters. And then I could barely hear it because it was mixed so poorly. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was mixed poorly or the speakers were just shit at the movie theater, but
we did see it in IMAX.
We did see it in IMAX, but I noticed that at other theaters too, so I'm pretty sure it is just a mixing problem.
Probably.
And that is something that I've noticed in other films as well. Going back to Michael Giacchino, he's kind of Hollywood's darling right now when it comes to action film scores. He's done a lot of stuff.
He did the Batman, which was awesome.
He's done the Batman. He did at least Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes. I don't know if he did Rise. He's done a bunch of stuff for Marvel. And he's done all 3 Jurassic World films. And what I have noticed...
Oh my god, and he also did the hit movie Land of the Lost, released in 2009.
Right, he did. And he also did...
And he did Cloverfield, too.
He did do Cloverfield. The one piece of music that was actually...
Hey, that one piece of music was really good.
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed, because I like Michael Giacchino as a composer, but what I have noticed with a lot of the films he works on is that when I'm watching the movies, I don't notice the music. You know, this happened with both Spider-Man No Way Home and Jurassic World Dominion. I watched the movies, didn't really like either of them. I know the internet's gonna fucking come for me that I said I didn't like Spider-Man No Way Home. But then I'll listen to the score when I get home, like a couple days later, and I'm like, wow, this music's fantastic. Why the fuck couldn't I hear it?
Dave, to make you feel better, I thought No Way Home was pretty mid.
Cool. So, we're on the same page.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's fine. It's okay.
It was fine. It was a Marvel movie. It was a Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was Marvel movie.
That's my review for basically every Marvel property that comes out.
Yeah.
Even the shows, I go, that's a Marvel movie.
That's a Marvel movie. But speaking of Michael Giacchino, did you watch Werewolf by Night?
No, I've been meaning to.
He directed that shit.
I want to. I know. I see.
Very good.
But one of the other things he did was Dominion. You mentioned it, and I think one of the only kind things we said about that movie was that the music was. I wouldn't say that it was good. I just said that a bunch of the pieces were pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened to the entirety of the score, so I don't know.
You should.
But I remember the same thing. The I said on the episode where we talked about it was that it was too fucking quiet. Didn't hear anything.
Yeah,
The only times I heard it was during the Atrociraptor chase in wherever the hell.
Malta, I think it was. I don't remember.
Malta, yeah. I don't remember that movie. The last time I watched it, I was really drunk.
Yeah, no one paid attention during that. Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned we did watch the extended cut of that film with a bunch of our friends, and we were all very drunk and belligerent. I don't think we really paid attention.
For the only scene, like the only substantial scene that was added, I was in the toilet, on the toilet shitting.
That's true. You were. I remember that. That was the prologue.
I give the Jurassic World Dominion extended cut 1 toilet out of 5.
1 toilet, man. That's harsh.
Yep. We did all do the hand thing at the TV.
We did. That was probably the best part. Like whenever Chris Pratt did the hand thing, if we were in the middle of a conversation, everyone would just shut up and just put their hands up to the screen. It was honestly incredible.
Even our dear friend Dakota, who had no idea what was going on and only knew you and I out of the 6 people in the room.
Yeah.
He even did the hand thing. Yeah, he knew.
And we all knew. It was nice that we had a meeting of the minds in that scenario.
Next time I'm home, we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to all get together again and do the hand thing.
Rewatch Jurassic World Dominion.
No, we're just going to do the hand thing out in public.
Okay.
To random animals that we see out.
I'm okay with that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up to a fucking bear and do it.
Oh no, Dave. Wait, I live near Alaska. I can go do that to some grizzlies.
Oh, there you go. Do it. It'll work.
Will it work?
It definitely won't end in your horrible mauling and death.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
All right, cool. But yeah, that's definitely a big thing, is that mixing on film scores a lot of the time isn't that great. It's not all the time. Like, actually, no. I was gonna say it's pretty bad most of the time. Most of the time, yes. I feel like with like the Disney Star Wars films, they've been pretty good, but I want to say that's because Disney knows that Star Wars is like a big thing. But then again, they do it all the fucking time with Marvel, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's hard to say.
Do the composers like have anything to do with the mixing process?
I have no idea. I mean, probably, but I was
gonna say maybe he's really good at making these scores and then just really not good at putting in input for mixing.
I don't think so. I think I'm sure they have like, you know, say over the mix for the release.
Yeah.
But not how it's used in the film, I guess. That's how I would probably theorize it. I assume that's how it would be.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about the bureaucracy of
Yeah, we're not smart enough for that.
No. I just know that it is a huge collaborative process that sounds very obnoxious.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I've kind of said all I've wanted to say on this topic.
As have I, actually.
Cool.
Whoa. I mean, to bring it back around, what I want to see is I want to see more themes.
Yeah, I do want to see
memorable themes. The
return of an iconic film score. I really do think it's a lost art.
Yeah. And that being said, though, I do think it is a bit subjective because some people like overarching motifs for movies, mm-hmm. where it's iterations of the same kind of music of music throughout the whole movie, and it is whatever. And then some people like big bombastic themes that are set for specific characters. And like you could also have both, but sometimes people like one or the other more. And I guess the motif thing is kind of the trend right now. I don't know. Like, I guess big, huge themes, specific themes for specific characters is just not. Apparently for some reason it's just not that popular.
Yeah.
And whether that's like subjectively, where composers are at, I don't know. I mean, it could be an industry thing, or it could be a producer thing, or studio demand. I don't know.
I don't know. I think what needs to happen is that you and me, Brian, need to be in charge of Hollywood itself, so we can make the decisions on film scores. I think that's what we need to do.
Well, our loyal audience, we're going to tell you right now that Dave and I, and also Josh, who you don't know, we're going to direct the next season of Resident Evil.
What are you talking about right now?
We're gonna direct the sequel season to Resident Evil when we find the rough draft of the script that's written down on used toilet paper. And we're gonna make some bombastic themes and put it in there.
I couldn't even tell you anything about the music in that fucking show.
Honestly, when you asked me about forgettable scores, and I was gonna say, I like after the fact, I thought about Resident Evil and that I don't remember a goddamn thing.
Yeah,
from the show.
That's how forgettable it was. You forgot to tell me about it.
Yeah, actually, one of the things I wanted, like I just thought about, and not even something I wanted to say. I just thought about it. Resident Evil Retribution, fantastic movie, but the music in that is actually pretty good.
I'll take your word for it. I don't fucking remember it. I've kind of tried to block all the Resident Evil stuff out of my head at this point.
I actually think a lot of the music from the Resident Evil movies are pretty good.
Well, that's because it's all like fucking new metal, and that's always good.
Yeah. I think it was all pretty good, except for 3. 3 had really obnoxious music.
Bad. Movie's just bad.
Yeah,
it
was really. Yeah, the movie was boring.
Yeah.
Oh god.
All right. Yeah, so it's, final thoughts. Just we need more iconic movie themes, and it doesn't even have to be like a specific character theme. If it's just like one damn good theme, that's okay.
Yeah,
like that's fine. But I want us as a society to get past this the quote unquote modern film score. Like I'm tired of the kind of more subdued, what's the word I'm looking for here? I guess ambient is kind of what I'm getting at. We need to get past like the ambient score, because it works. It can work. Like Hans Zimmer, I mean, he does a lot of that kind of stuff. But it's always really fucking good because Hans Zimmer is a goddamn fucking god when it comes to film scores. I mean, I really do think...
Except for The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
But hey, I'm pretty sure Junkie XL also worked on that score.
I think the person who ruined it was Pharrell Williams.
Oh, that's right. It was Pharrell. That's who it was. Oh, I'm thinking of Batman v Superman. It was Hans Zimmer and Holkenborg.
Oh yeah, that's right. God.
Which that's a good.
Oh boy.
That's a. You know what? Fuck that. The Wonder Woman theme. That's an iconic piece of film music.
Oh, that's true.
That is a. I mean, everyone fucking went nuts over that. I mean, people hated the movie when it came out, but everyone said, "Wow, that Wonder Woman theme kicks ass." There's a reason they brought it back in the Wonder Woman movie. So there's another example. Hey, that's a recent example too, because that movie came out in 2016.
Yeah, it did.
Look at us.
Huh. Hey, it took us a while to think of it on the spot.
Right.
We did.
It happens.
What time you asked me to think of iconic film scores at like 2:00 today, and took me until 5:30. And it wasn't even me who thought of it; it was you.
The fuck? Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it for our discussion today. If you haven't yet, go listen to the Godzilla vs. Kong score on its own, and I would love, love, love to hear some of your thoughts on it. And one more thing that actually came from future friend of the show, Jacob Lingle, when I was talking about this with him, for a reason I will get into. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll wait for it. He mentioned that had McCreary not used any classic themes in his score, like the Godzilla vs. Kong score also probably would have been received better by fans. Like if he had written his own Godzilla theme, which he does. He has his own Godzilla theme in there. It's not like labeled Godzilla's theme, but like, you know, you listen to the track King of the Monsters, that like I'm pretty sure that's just his Godzilla theme, because it's the motif, that motif is in that track, and also Memories of San Francisco. So I kind of consider that to be McCreary's Godzilla theme. But anyways,
Yeah.
if he hadn't used any classic themes, if he hadn't used the Ifukube and Koseki themes, Godzilla vs. Kong probably would have been received better for that. And I do think that is definitely part of it, because Godzilla fans are dumb babies and they want more nostalgia.
True. I mean, also there's just the fact that like Godzilla as a franchise has gone on so long that most of the time when people watch a new movie, all they can do is compare to what's come before.
That's true. But here's the
and
thing.
it really ends up being what immediately came before it.
Yeah. But like, consider this.
I mean, it's
like some of the best Godzilla scores have been not Akira Ifukube.
Yeah.
You know, Godzilla
That's
versus
true.
Mechagodzilla, that's Masaru Sato. The Return of Godzilla, that's Reijiro Kuroko. Fucking, oh god, I'm blanking on the name. I'm seeing
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Thank you. I was blanking on it. That's Michiru Oshima. None of those reuse.
Absolutely wonderful person, very good live.
Yes, and her Godzilla theme has been received just as well by fans. Like that is at this point I feel just as iconic as Ifukube's Godzilla theme.
It's up there for me.
Yeah, so I don't know why everyone wants Ifukube themes. Just have more composers do their own Godzilla theme. I really, really like Alexander Desplat's theme from Godzilla 2014. I think that's a great theme.
Hey, me too. I remember I put that opinion up on Twitter one time, and I got attacked for it.
Oh, big surprise. It's Twitter.
Yeah, I deleted my Twitter. That place sucks.
Well, now Elon fucking Musk owns it, so it sucks even more.
Ugh, disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got rid of it.
But
Ugh.
all right. Well, I think that's it for the main topic of discussion.
Yeah. If you have any thoughts, please leave your comments on
please do.
Whatever platform you can comment on.
I actually really would love to hear people's thoughts on this, because this is definitely, I want to say, the first topic we've done that has been really open to like discussion. I feel like obviously like
we're all about public forum here.
Reviewing something is always open discussion because everyone has their own opinion. But like this is something we've done where like it's like this much wider topic that's open to way more opinions than anything really. So I would really love to hear people's thoughts on this. Not even specifically on Godzilla versus Kong, just like on everything else, like the state of film music. You know, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that. Because,
oh God, I could talk about it all day.
Yeah, same here. I mean, the reason, I don't know if this is the case for you, Brian, but like the reason I love film music is because of Godzilla, because I grew up listening to like those iconic themes. That's why it's, you know, film music is probably the thing I listen to most aside from like metal and punk.
I listen to a lot of video game music.
Wow, what a fucking nerd. But that's also like sort of in the same ballpark.
I was actually going to come up with another kind of comparison, and that's Halo and
Mm.
how boring the music got after 343 and oh man,
Martin O'Donnell.
Marty O'Donnell left.
Yeah,
Like he, for as egotistical and obnoxious as as he is, he made really good music.
he did.
And he was very, very vocal about how the music was used and like, how it was, implemented into the game and the gameplay and how when it was, whatever. And when he left, that was all gone. And if you played from Halo 4, Halo 4's score was a lot different from what came before. So it wasn't bad, but that composer actually cared.
Yeah.
And then that composer left, and it was taken over by it was the composer that was under him. And then the music, it just hasn't been like, it's been generic action music ever since. It's just not it's not iconic anymore.
Yeah.
Like if you play the Halo theme for somebody, they'll know that it's Halo, even if they've never played the games. Like that is a good like theme for a character, because you could argue that the Halo theme is for Master Chief.
Yeah.
That's his theme, or something like that. Like you can make that argument. I feel like games have definitely stuck more with themes for characters, but I also feel like game scores in general have been getting more boring and boring and boring. That's AAA gaming, not indie games. Indie games are still very good with music.
100%. I don't play enough games to like really speak on that, so I'll take your word for it there. But
yeah, but then but then you obviously have a lot of games that are still really good with music, like any of the Souls games from Software. Their composers are always fantastic. You have Bear McCreary does the bulk of his work in games still, or not still, I guess. But he does God of War, which is probably the biggest one.
He does God of War. I mean, he's definitely more in the world of film and TV than video games, but he does do video games every so often.
Yeah. And then I can't really think right now.
I don't know.
But
we should move on anyways.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
talk to us.
Let us know what you guys think. Anyways, moving on to our last segment. What new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now? Hey Brian, what new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now?
Well, nothing still, because Halloween just ended.
That's
and
true.
We were exclusively watching horror
Exactly.
So we are still in the process of watching Decker.
Yep. We're still going strong on Decker. It's been really, really good. If you guys haven't been watching, you definitely should.
Yeah, honestly, Decker is like real good. Like it.
Yeah.
Like
I really wish
foundations for Ultraman. My foundation for Ultraman being Trigger was probably not good.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, like, I kind of wish we hadn't done an Ultraman Trigger episode, and we had just the first Ultraman episode we did would have been Decker, because it would have been a much more enjoyable experience for you as a new Ultraman fan. But
yeah,
you know what?
Like
you're here
with,
now.
With
That's what
Trigger,
matters.
with Trigger, when that ended, I was like, thank God it's over. That sucked. And my like, I guess my grasp of Ultraman wasn't good. And then I watched a bunch of the original, which I still haven't finished. And then we started watching Decker, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. I understand why people like Ultraman. I understand. So yeah, I'm gonna forget Trigger ever happened. Decker is really good.
Yeah.
I guess that's it for me. I'm gonna get back to watching to finishing up Gamera. That's on the list. Had to put it on hold because of Spooky Month.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's it. I don't know. Whenever The Lake comes out, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a release. I'm sure there is, but I don't know. As for me, I did include some classic J horror in my spooky viewing. Aside from Spook Warfare, which we did a whole episode on once more, you can go check that out. I also watched The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch, which is directed by Noriaki Uwasa. I'm pretty sure it is the only film he directed that was not Gamera. It's good. It's not great, but it's good. The first two acts are really good, and then in the third act, the witch, the titular silver-haired witch, kind of comes out of nowhere. It's really weird, but other than that, it's got a great atmosphere for sure. The inner monologue from the child character, because like the main character is a child, that starts to get kind of annoying after a little bit, but it's not too bad. But yeah, no, it's a solid film. It's very moody and atmospheric, and I appreciate that in a horror film for sure. Also, if you guys remember a couple months ago, I had mentioned I had watched the This Is Gwar documentary on Shudder. Well, a couple days ago, I actually saw Gwar in concert.
Oh, hell yeah.
And boy, was that an experience.
The picture you sent me afterwards is
yeah.
I was on the floor laughing.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know about Gwar, I'll just say I wore a white shirt going in. I was not wearing a white shirt going out. It was an entirely different color at that point.
You look like you were in like a war zone or something.
Yeah, so they spray fake blood and also fake vomit / semen at the audience. The vomit and semen is blue because, I mean, semen's white, and white doesn't really stain clothes very well, but blue does, so it's fine. So that's what they did for that. Yeah, it was one of the coolest concerts I've ever been to. It was the first concert I've ever been to where I was like, I didn't find myself much caring about the music than I was just about the experience. And I feel like that could only be said at a Gwar show. I don't think there's any other concert I could go to where that would be the case. So, yeah,
I just keep thinking about the picture you sent to me. He just looks so funny.
Yeah,
hold on, I gotta go look at it.
I explicitly, like, the face I made was one of, like, I've seen some shit. That was explicitly the face I made. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh my god. Dave, you look like hold on, you look like a dude in like a found footage movie that's like running away from something.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you look like.
Very nice.
You look crazy.
Yeah, no, that is 100% what I was going for.
I'm gonna set this as your profile picture on your contact photo on my phone.
Okay. I was gonna say, you can't set my profile picture. Only I can do that.
I think I can set it in my Discord server.
That you probably can. But, yeah. So that's pretty much all I've been checking out. Once again, we might be watching Kamen Rider. Who knows? We'll see.
We've been desperately looking for something to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Aside from Decker.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's kind of gonna be it for the show today. How about that? This is a short episode. I love that. We haven't had a good short episode in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, all at Talking Toku. Go check out Kaiju United at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, both the group and the page. Also the subreddit at r/Kaiju United. Once again, that website will launch March 7th. So keep an eye out for that. I will not shut up about it until the site is up. Don't you worry, it will not be the last you hear of it.
Oh boy.
What else? Anything else? Anything else we need to add, Brian?
No.
No?
Socials. That's
Social.
it.
We did the socials. All right. Cool. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing next time, but we'll probably be reviewing something. That's usually how this goes.
We go discussion review. If you have any suggestions, leave them somewhere, please.
Yeah, for the love of God,
Please.
we need interaction.
We need that social interaction.
Exactly. We're so lonely.
We will literally reply and give you recognition.
Yes. We'll give you a
We'll
shout
probably
out.
say your screen name.
Yeah, and we might say it wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah, and then you can comment again and be like, "Hey, you said my name wrong," and then we'll say it again in an apology.
And we'll say it even more wrong that time because it'd be funnier.
Yeah, because you're dumb.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Okay.
we'll figure out what we're gonna cover next time.
I'm sure we'll come up with it at least a day before we record.
Yeah. Hopefully more than a day, but who knows? That's it. There have been times where it's been a day.
There's
not
been
fun,
times where it's
but
come down to
it's
a
happened.
wire.
Yeah.
It's come down to the wire. Yeah.
But yeah. Keep that. Yeah. Just show up next week. Well, not next week, but in 2 weeks because this is a bi-weekly show. So yeah. All right. Well, with that out of the way, this has been Talking Toku. My name is David.
I'm Brian.
And we will see
Again.
you guys in 2 weeks for the next episode. All right. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.